New York Toy Fair 2026 has come to an end. But that doesn't mean the fun has ended. In fact, it is just starting. It is the preamble, it is the beginning, it is where the companies that start the year, they come and they give us the roadmap, they give us a vision of how the year is going to be. And I think this year is coming with strong opportunities for toy collectors. So in this video, I want to break it down for you, my top 10 highlights of the event, the things that I think that you need to pay attention to, and the things that in my opinion are going to be very exciting for 2026. Number 1, Playmates. Now, the year started really sad, in my opinion, for Playmates. When we received the news not long ago that they lost the license, the master license of TMT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a lot of people were super sad. Because when you think about TMT, you always got to think about Playmates. They were the company who believe in the creators and have the vision to have the toy line that became one of the most important toy lines of the late 80s, early 90s. But I gotta be honest, they started the year pretty strong. Not only they showcase in the presentation the stuff that they have for the rest of the year, they loosen the license at the end of this year. So they're still gonna go strong with TMT. They showcase everything they have. Some stuff they showcased last year is not going to be produced, unfortunately, but they are finalizing this by just going strong. But not only that, one thing that surprised me is the crossover things that they have. They have the TMT crossover with G.I. Joe, which is a dream come true for a lot of people. You grew up in that era with toys and you like to match your toys when you were playing. I gotta be honest, this is something so awesome that I wasn't expecting. And not only that, it's not just a small collection. They showcase everything you can think of, all the different characters, all the different vehicles. It looks amazing. That is an amazing crossover there. Also, they have a crossover with TMT cross Godzilla, another one with Godzilla cross Power Rangers. So I would say Playmates, even though you can say that they have a sad moment, I think they're still strong. And they're showcasing that they're not afraid for whatever the year is going to bring. So at least that brings us hope. Also, they continue with the Power Rangers line. You can find them everywhere right now. I see them at Target, I see them at Walmart. I think they continue to go strong, particularly they hitting that market for children. Godzilla, they're still keeping all the things. So there's still hope for Playmates. So even though, again, it started kind of sad, at least I'm glad that the company is finding ways to still be productive and they bring in some beautiful stuff. Number 2, Mattel. And yes, Mattel is taking the TMT license, which is kind of odd in my opinion, because I never really thought that Mattel would be the one, but Mattel is such a huge company. They also, as we knew, they were taking the DC license. That's something that we knew since last year. And honestly, there was a lot of mixed feelings for me because I love Mattel, but I think Mattel has been kind of slow in a lot of things in more recent times. But I still have a lot of hope. In the presentation, they showcased they didn't have no TMT stuff. Of course, right now, Playmates is doing it. We gotta wait till next year to start seeing this stuff. But what they have is the DC stuff for children. And I gotta tell you that DC stuff looks great. And this is the stuff that they're gonna sell for children. They are talking about that they mentioned in the presentation that the premium stuff, the premium collector stuff, is not coming until 2027, but it's gonna be very similar in the scale to the stuff they have here. Now, when looking at the stuff that they showcase here, we saw the pictures before, but now seeing them in the presentation, they look way better. And I'm telling you, that stuff reminds me of DC Universe. I love that collection. I used to collect those. They were great. They had flaws, but I think this toys kind of resemble that, and that really gives me hope that the stuff that's going to be for the collector's market is going to be even better, with better articulation, perhaps with more accessories. We will have to wait and see. For the Masters of the Universe stuff, of course, they have everything that is in reference to the film. They mentioned that that's going to be the goal. The films are going to emphasize all of that with the different lines. They have what they call the Chronicles, which is technically the collector's line, but also they have the children's core line. Everything that is involved, all the characters, they all look great. I wouldn't say that I'm a big fan of some of the aesthetics of the film, but I'm looking forward to the film. I think it's going to be huge. Hopefully it's a great film. that really cements also the popularity among children, because as long as we have kids buying the products, then that means the companies can produce also stuff for the collectors market. So yeah, that is the only thing. And they mentioned also that some of the lines that we have known so far, collected so far, like the Masterverse line, the Origins line, the cartoon line, they're all on right now on pause. That's what they said. So they're gonna wait and see, because the emphasis again is the movie. So that's where they're going to go after that market. So in a way, you know, if you kind of, you know, you've been spending so much money as I do with many collectibles, that gives us at least a break for a time. And you know, to kind of to recoup till next year. Hopefully next year it comes back stronger. Number 3, the loyal subjects. Now I gotta be honest with you, the loyal subjects, I have some mixed feelings about it. Of course, mask is one thing that I love very, very much. I have the collection. I bought the wave 1 of the redone figures, or the vehicles and all that. I know people are not happy with the vehicles, and I gotta be honest, I haven't even opened my boxes. That I haven't even had the chance to do it. I've been just loving just the boxes the way they are, and I might get a second. If things go well, if I open them and they like them, I might just get a second box of each character just to display the boxes or whatever. But you know, they showcased the second wave. They were not at this, in this case, at the event. They were off-site nearby, but they showcased the wave 2, of course, other things that they do, and the vehicles look fine. Now I would say that I'm still not necessarily super excited, because I do believe that on the QC side they fail a lot. Another reason why I haven't opened mine, because I've been afraid to open them and be upset too. But in any case, it was exciting to see, and hopefully they really work on those areas, because in a way a lot of people were expecting, particularly this collector's price, because the price wasn't cheap for these figures, is to really to be up to par with the times, not just to have something that resembles the old toys along the way, even with the bad QC issues that the old toys used to have. And in a way it's not as good, because this are more flimsy in a way than the originals, or at least that's what I remember in my memory. Of course, when you were a child holding a toy, you know, smaller hands, you don't see it the same way as I do it as an adult, where you see things that you don't see as a child. But you know, there's still hope. I think the mask has potential. Hopefully they're able to release it on time. Wave 1 took forever. But still, you know, in some way, I'm still happy that they continue on. Hopefully they continue on in the right way and they fix some of the issues. Number 4, Nacelle Toys. Now, Nacelle Toys has been an exciting company in the past few years. I love the stuff they do, the Cowboys of Moo Mesa. I love that stuff. They had it there in the presentation, the biker mice. They showcased the second wave, the next waves that they have, and they all look fantastic. The figures look amazing. But what really surprised me in the presentation that was better than what we have at San Diego Comic-Con, of course, I think New York Comic-Con too, more of the Expanse and also Star Trek, particularly Star Trek. I love the figures. They have a lot of figures that didn't showcase before, and they all look fantastic. And to be honest with you, this is what you want to see. The figures look amazing. Reminds me of the old classic figures, Star Trek figures that we got back in the early 2000s, but in a better way. So I think Nacelle is really hitting a market that it needs it, of course, because we have seen the more expensive stuff on the 1/6 scale, but also the 1/12 requires or needs. There's a market for it. So we'll see. Nacelle Toys was exciting to see the stuff they have. I love the excitement of the company, the things that they're doing, what they're injecting into the industry. And they have something that no one else does. Some of the stuff that really they offer here is stuff that no one else has. And that is great in my opinion. Number 5, Neca Toys. Neca Toys is a company that no matter what always comes on top. In every presentation, every showcase, is always exciting to see. All the lines that they have, which they have a vast array, a vast catalog of things to offer. Of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we are really seeing the stuff that is coming very soon. A lot of the stuff that is more obscure from Archie Comics. Also, they got this Ten Sakai, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles deluxe figures that look amazing. From the stuff from modern cartoons, they have so much things that they were showcasing there. Huge figures, small figures, all different scales. The presentation was amazing. Neca does amazing work for sure. But also they have Predator stuff, also the horror stuff. For a time they were kind of slowing down. They continue to go strong with the horror figures. If you're a horror fan, definitely you're going to love the stuff they do. But also they showcase a lot of new stuff. You have the DC stuff, you have the stuff for Batman, the films. looking amazing. It's amazing. They look great. The Muppets, finally we were able to see this figure and they look terrific. I'm loving this stuff for the Muppets. More stuff for Sesame Street. We're seeing more stuff there. Another one that was showcased for the first time, DuckTales figures. They look phenomenal. And this is the beginning of something that if does well, they will do more Disney stuff. So I'm looking forward. They already did the Gargoyles and hopefully they bring it back because Gargoyles is, in my mind, is still not dead. Hopefully they can arrange some of the issues that they had initially with Disney and they're able to continue to bring more stuff. I would love to see it. We saw Pee Wee Herman, new deluxe figure, looks really great. And McDonald's, amazing. The McDonald's, Ronald McDonald, some of the stuff that they do for McDonald's, it's just amazing what they're doing. It's always the stuff that they normally do and they add more stuff, but also new stuff that comes out of nowhere that in my mind looks amazing. Definitely NECA is doing something for everyone. Number 6. Trick or Treat Studios. Now, Trick or Treat Studios is a company that has been in business for a while. It's not a young company, but primarily they concentrated for many years on anything that has to do with customs, horror customs, masks, and all that. They've been known for doing that, those type of props. And they have been doing figures. But this year, I was amazed that at Toy Fair, they had an extensive toy line from 1/6 scale to 1/12 scale. They have figures across the board, even for small figures, for 5-inch figures. They have all kind of figures for horror fans. I'm not a horror fan, but I understand the importance of it and how many fans out there, how many people love to collect toys out of horror licenses and movies and films and video games and all of that. And this year it was no exception. Trick or Treat surprised me. I've seen the presentations in previous years. I've seen some of the stuff they showcase. It never really surprised me, but this year I was impressed, and I think it rivals at the same level with what the stuff that NECA is doing with the horror stuff. And it's good. Competition is important. Number 7, and this is something that to me came out of the left field, but I'm excited, although I'm still treading carefully about it, and it's Ad Populum, the owner of the Diamond Select Toys. They bought everything, of course, after the bankruptcy. Ad Populum decided to technically bring Diamond Select out of retirement in a way, and they use the same space that they have normally used over time in the presentation to showcase other companies. And is this the beginning of Diamond Select comeback? We're not sure, but at least they opened the door and the opportunity for other companies to present their toys. So in their space, they have stuff for Hyatt Toys, Medicom, BuzzFi Studio, Kotobukiya, Blitzway, Beast Kingdom, Good Smile Company. So is this the beginning of the return of Diamond Select? I can only hope. I think it's an important thing. If Diamond Select comes back even just as a distributor, that would be great news. And hopefully that opens the door at some point for Gentle Giant to come back. Anyway, that is just hope. But it was nice to hear that the name was used again and the people were talking about it. Number 8, Super 7. Super 7 is a company that continues to impress me and they continue to grow. Yes, they've been through so many different stages, good moments, bad moments. They announced many new licenses prior to the event. We know the Invincible is coming to them. That was one license that technically was pretty much went out of the window as soon as Diamond Select went out of the window. So it's great that now it's going to be with Super 7. I don't know how Super 7 is going to handle it. Hopefully they handle it well. But also they have Visionaries. They also have MTV, My Little Pony. So they have things, for a lot of fans in different ways. And that is interesting. But in the presentation, they have a lot of things from Sesame Street, from all the stuff that they produce. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Thundercats, Silverhawks, Tiger Sharks. Although Tiger Sharks, they didn't have the models there yet, but they have at least the images. There's an exciting collection in my book. So they have stuff for the Ultimates. They have deluxe figures that look amazing in my opinion. They have Reaction Plus figures. Also, we saw the G.I. Joe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Reaction Plus O-Rings series. They look amazing. They continue with G.I. Joe, of course, Reaction Plus, but the O-Rings are something that people love. It's classic stuff. The packaging is amazing, and with the TMT also looking great. So definitely, I think Super 7 has a lot of exciting things to offer. And I think this year is just the beginning for great things for the company, as long as they continue on the same track. Number 9, almost coming to the end, Hasbro is still the king. I would say Hasbro as a company continues to impress no matter what, because Hasbro in these presentations brings everything you can think of. Of course, you have, and one thing that I gotta be honest that I'm super excited before the presentation is the announcement that they were acquiring the Street Fighter license. That to me, it was like, that's it. I don't need to see anything else. I'm excited just to see that. And of course, you already have Marvel. So to me, as a person who loves Marvel vs. Capcom, then definitely now the potential of having the same company producing Marvel vs. Capcom, I'm looking forward to that. I would pay double. I paid the amount of money for the, for 2 pieces, one for the packaging alone, that would be amazing, and one just for the figures. I think the potential is there. They've been doing the figures with Marvel, but they were not doing the stuff with Capcom. People, of course, were mismatching the Jada stuff and all of that, but this can change that. So this coming from the same company, really, my mind is just getting blown by it. I just thinking about the possibilities there. But also, they're acquiring the license for the Voltron movie. So we'll see. There's a lot of potential. Hasbro is definitely killing it because they already have a strong license as Ghostbusters, G.I. Joe, all of that. Now, with Marvel Legends, of course, they showcased one figure that to me was probably one of my favorite figures in the whole show. It was the Smart Hulk, the Professor Hulk, based on the art of Dale Keown. I gotta honestly say, this is the Hulk that is better than the previous Maximum Hulk that has a lot of QC problems. I think this is great. I love the figure. Also a new Thor from the Maximum series. Definitely very close to the Thor that we had from them not long ago, maybe 10 years ago or so. Time flies, but it looks good. It also comes with the Thor frog, which I like that. Also, we got the Secret Wars stuff that's already on pre-order. All the Secret Wars stuff they have magic. The figure that I like the most is Daredevil, and the one that I'm definitely gonna grab 2 of them. I'm a big fan of this classic one. Also, another great figure, Hulkbuster Punisher. That I've seen so many Hulkbuster Punishers that are custom made. A lot of people have always done customs of that. It's one of those characters that people love so much to recreate. Well, now we have an official figure and it looks killer. I love the stuff they do with Hasbro. On the Star Wars, we saw a lot of things from the vintage collection, from the Black Series. Also, they have a new mini helmet collection. I saw a lot of stuff from the Clone Wars, also from the Mandalorian and Grogu. So that was good. Always delivering on the stuff. That is not a problem. Also, the G.I. Joe stuff, the Transformer stuff. Most of the Transformer stuff that we're showcasing, there's some good stuff for the Studio Series 86. A lot of the stuff for the movies, the classic stuff that I love, but also from all the different generations on the G.I. Joe. They're definitely just going crazy with G.I. Joe, with so many characters and figures. Many of the stuff you can see at the store already. So it was awesome. As always, Hasbro is killing it. They're definitely there. That's the reason they're the kings, because they cover so many licenses. They're unafraid. They put the money out, and there's always releasing figure after figure after figure for each collection. And number 10, the best in my opinion of the show, McFarlane Toys. Now, I gotta be honest with you, coming to this toy fair, this presentation prior to the event, I was a bit afraid of McFarlane because, they lost the DC license and they're just coming to the end. And I was thinking, what is it that McFarlane can offer, now that they're losing pretty much the biggest license they have? But as always, Todd is a phoenix. He is a survivor. He has shown time and time again that he can make money out of anything, because that is how talented he is as a businessman. And McFarlane is not backing down for sure. So we saw, of course, we got the news, they acquired QMX. QMX, of course, have done a lot of the Q-Fix for a long time. Beautiful, artsy, kind of like a Scotty Young figures. They acquired the company, so they showcase their Spawn figures. They got Spawn mini statues. They got Marvel. They got DC stuff, all looking cute. That is good news. I really like that. It's exciting to see what they're going to do with that. They told us that they acquire the Sony Games license. So that opens the door for more stuff they're gonna do with Sony, with Kratos, God of War, so many licenses that they can do, Uncharted. There's so many things that they can do Honestly, the potential is there. On the Marvel stuff, they continue to produce the 1/6, 1/10 statues, and they all look amazing. They have new ones there in the showcase. The stuff, some stuff that we already seen, it based on the comics, of course, based on video games like Rivals or Token, the upcoming fighting game that is produced by Arc System Works. But all of those things are showcasing that, again, he's not backing down. The potential with Marvel is still there, very, very strong. But also, he has stuff for TMT with the Page Punchers, Helldivers 2, Warhammer, Fallout, Mortal Kombat Classic. It's not slowing down. World of Warcraft, Doom, the Dark Ages, Diablo 4. That, you know, the stuff that we have seen. They also showcase stuff for DC collectibles, the DC statues, DC Designer Series, all the stuff that they were already doing. So they still doing stuff. They also have stuff that's already, there's some stuff I already seen in the stores, but stuff that they're going to still release for DC. With there is the Batman animated series, they're still gonna release stuff throughout the year till the end. They're gonna keep just milking the license as much as they can, make money out of it. That's fine. But other things that surprised me that I was not expecting is new Hellboy comic base figures, and they look great. I'm telling you, Hellboy looks fantastic. It's been a few figures by different companies, they all look fine, but the potential, knowing the way Todd is, the potential to create not only Hellboy but many other characters in the lore of Hellboy is there. So it looked exciting. The figures have some mixed media. I don't know if they're two figures or the same figure with multiple parts. Knowing Todd, he might just separate it and make multiple figures instead of just one deluxe with so many different interchangeable parts. We'll see, but it looks fantastic. Also, another thing that really excited me as a big fan of Eric Larson's the Savage Dragon, there's a new Savage Dragon figure and a Shadowhawk, the Jim Valentino character, those stuff from Image Comics, of course. You know, last time we saw Shadowhawk, last time we saw, you know, McFarlane has done toys of them, but that has been so many years ago, many years ago, 15 to 20 or so. It's been so long. It's been so long. Toy Biz did the last figure that we have. Toy Biz did it for the Savage Dragon. Nothing has been done since. And you know, other people have been doing, like, you know, Rob Liefeld has been doing stuff with the Youngblood stuff right now, of course, with Loose Collector, and they look fantastic. But to see the Savage Dragon again I'm excited. Honestly, I'm excited with McFarlane Toys with this stuff they're doing. Hellboy, you know, and the Savage Dragon together in action figure in the same collection. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's just crazy times. I love it. And I'm telling you, even though I came thinking that Todd would be McFarlane will have a bad year, I think McFarlane it's showing us that it's not slowing down. They're going to use all the resources they have to produce the amazing looking figures for sure. And the opportunity is there. You know, Todd knows how to make a buck out of nothing. And I feel that the potential is there for the company. So yeah, I was excited. Of course, you know, there were other companies in the presentation we cannot skip. You're talking about Bandai Namco, always with the stuff they do, particularly with Dragon Ball stuff. Good Smile Company doing a lot of stuff. Kotobukiya, Square Enix, Jazzwares, Funko, Mondo, and so many other companies, even in statue companies, were there doing and showcasing this stuff. As the start of the year, I think Toy Fair is setting the foundation, and it's also measuring the temperature right now in the market, even though there's a lot of things that are affecting the market, whether it's tariffs, the situations in the world, all the things you can think of. I think companies are still working hard and producing a product that actually collectors can love. And I think they're already loving, just as the presentation alone, because the presentation is giving us a lot of good vibes. So I'm hoping for great things for this year. So my friends, what do you think about the presentation? Any highlights here? Any things that you're excited about? Anything that you are going to pre-order? Anything that you love on the presentation? Anything that you think I miss? Or things that I mentioned here that you disagree with? Let me know in the comments below. So once again, my friends, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button to remind you of the next video. Follow me on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. The links are in the description. And please consider supporting the channel financially through Patreon. My friends, God bless. Take care. Talk to you again. Bye-bye.